Everybody stand. We're going to have an invocation. If you'll pray with me. Most gracious Heavenly Father, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for the opportunity to gather here today. We want to thank you for the men and women that serve our country and protect our homeland. We ask that you be with them and keep them safe. We also want to thank you for the opportunity to gather yesterday to celebrate the people that protect our lives and keep us safe, and we ask your blessing on them also. We ask that you watch after us today and help us to do the right things for the community. Give us strength and courage. Amen. Let the record show that we have a quorum, and we'll call the meeting to order, and Councilman Bammer will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. It is always a special time for us to receive visitors or welcome visitors and receive public comment. We're glad that everybody's here today. Mr. Howard, it's nice to have you. Thank you. We don't often get to see you, but we're always blessed with your wife's visit. So welcome. And Ms. Howard, we're glad you're here.
Thank you, sir.
Vince, it's good to have you.
Thank you, sir.
And Gil Robert, glad you're here. And Slater and the rest of the staff. Amen. Leanne, is there anybody in the audience that would like to make public comment at this time? We never have anybody who wants to do that. It's okay. We'll just move right on into the agenda. First thing we would like to do is to approve minutes of the public hearing we had on July 11th of this year. I'll make a motion. We approve those minutes.
I'll second.
And we have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next thing we'd like to do is to approve the minutes of the council meeting on that same day, July 11th. And I'll make a motion. We approve those.
I'll second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Next thing we would like to do is to consider resolution number R718-0816 that approving and authorizing publication of notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation for water and sewer improvements. Leanne, I want to turn that over to you and Mr. Viel
Okay.
and let y'all talk about that.
Okay. I'd just tell you that this bond package is to pay for some water and sewer improvements that we've discussed with council during budget work sessions. And then I'd ask Vince if he would to come and to talk about the process for actually issuing the bonds.
Thank you, Leanne. Mayor, council members, good evening. For the record, my name is Vince Viel with Specialized Public Finance for the city's financial advisor and assist y'all whenever we're doing capital projects and we have to fund those capital projects. What I want to visit with y'all this evening is about the process of issuing certificates of obligation and what we're looking at trying to accomplish by doing this for a public works project. It's our understanding the city is trying to acquire $3 million for the public project that we're trying to make improvements to. What we've done is we've put together some scenarios, or a scenario that will show the impact for the $3 million borrowing. The city is going to be issuing certificates of obligation. That's a method by which cities can issue debt instruments, get the money for the projects, and complete your public project. On page 1, we've got an overview of the analysis that we put together for the city. Basically, the summary is the project fund deposit that we're going to be putting for the city is $3 million. That will be the amount that you'll receive for the project. The term of the COs will be 15 years, so it'll be a 15-year payout on that. The estimated interest rate is 2.35%, and the annual average debt service is going to be about $244,000. We're looking at a monthly impact of about $10.39 per connection if nothing else changes for the city. That's only for that $244,000 a year payment based upon the number of connections that we understand the city has right now. With that, I'd like to guide y'all to page 2. This is a spreadsheet that hopefully illustrates the annual impact and shows you the payments on the CO issue and how we're amortizing that payout on the COs. If we start over on the left side of the page, we'll start off with the fiscal year ending September 30th for each year, starting in 2016. You can see our estimated number of utility connections there at 1,971. Now, we do not increase that number. We don't know if we're going to be increasing the number from year to year, if that number is going to go up or down. So for the purpose of this model, we took the existing connections and just kept that static over the life of the model. So we show no growth impact on this. The next 3 columns relate to the payout on the COs themselves. Again, we're looking at a 15-year payout and an interest rate, we're guessing right now about 2.35%. Again, you can see what the total debt service payments are, which are just the principal payments and the interest payments each year, about $244,000 per year. Now, if you equate that $244,000 back to your number of connections, that's where we come up with the $10.39 impact per connection. Again, you may have revenues from the sources you want to pay for it. This is simply a model to give you a feel for what the impact will be for this borrowing itself. Any questions so far? Okay. Page 3 is a calendar for the financing. You can see the first action item there is August 8th at this council meeting. What we're doing this evening is we're considering the resolution directing publication of the city's notice of intent to issue certificates of obligation. If the council approves this resolution, the notices will appear in the newspaper over a 2-week period. Some things happen between now and later on down the road before we receive the funds. We'll have a rating call with Standard & Poor's. We'll get a rating for the city of Muleshoe, and basically that's like a credit rating, a personal credit rating for the city itself. Of course, we want to get the best rating that we can because the better our credit rating is, the lower interest rate that we'll receive in the marketplace. Now, how we're going to sell these COs is we're going to structure the CO issue, get it rated by Standard & Poor's, and put it out in the marketplace for bid. And bidders are going to be bidding the interest rate. It's very much like a sealed bid process. It's done over the internet. And bidders will submit their bids, the interest rate on the COs. Once we get those bids in, we'll bring those bids back to council on October 10th. We'll have a council meeting that evening. We'll present the council with the results, the tabulation of all the bids that we received and the interest rate. If we've got a good rate at that time, then you will consider the ordinance authorizing the issuance of the COs. If the council approves that ordinance at that time, the next step is to get the Attorney General's approval on the transaction, and that drives us to a closing date on November 10th. Now, November 10th, when we close this, you'll receive the $3 million at one time. That will become your money to manage, and as you incur invoices for the public project, you'll pay those invoices out of that construction fund. Any questions so far? The last page I've got is a graph that illustrates tax-exempt interest rates. These are where tax-exempt rates have been for the last 10 years. As you can tell by this graph, we're in a very low interest rate environment right now, so it's a very opportune time that if we're doing public projects to go out and access the public market and lock in those interest rates. So we will be doing a fixed rate transaction. It will not be a variable rate. We'll lock the rate in and take the bids, and that's pretty much our transaction, gentlemen. I'm happy to answer any questions y'all may have about it.
Since you're at an all-time low as far as rates, do you have less bids happening?
Not at all. The market is still going. The market's where the market is. So there are buyers out there even at this level. So it's a very aggressive marketplace. I would anticipate whenever we take the bids and bring them back to council, we should get probably in the neighborhood of at least 8 bids.
Have you checked on our credit rating to see how it's looking?
Haven't lately, and I can't recall what our credit rating is. I know it's a very good credit rating. I want to say it's probably A+, A-, if not AA. Muleshoe's, it's got a very good credit rating. I don't expect that to change.
I think it was AA when they did the last bond.
I believe so.
It very well
I
could
need to
be.
go back and look at that, but it was very good.
Make a motion that we approve resolution R 7180816.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve that resolution that approves and authorizes the publication of notice of the intent to issue certificates of obligation. Is there any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. Motion carries. All right. Thank you,
Gentlemen,
sir.
thank y'all very much.
Thank
Long
you.
trip for just a few minutes, but we appreciate you being here.
It's worthy. Thank y'all.
Thank you. The next thing we would like to do is to consider an award bid for the home program construction contract. And I believe y'all have already opened those bids, is that right?
Yes, sir, they were open Friday afternoon.
Good.
And Kay Howard from A&J Alco Services is here to discuss the home grant and to answer any questions council might have.
Okay.
Good evening. It's very good to be with y'all. Haven't been here in a long time, so I'm appreciating the opportunity. You have in front of you several pieces of paper. This is the one that we did the bid tab on. I want y'all to, if you'll go down there to the very bottom, and you'll see there's a figure there after total on the Brewer side, that Brewer Construction, it says $87,860. That should have been $89,860. I don't know what happened to my spreadsheet, but when I was looking back through it just a while ago, I noticed that. And then you would then change, that is a deduct of $5,000, that would back you right back up to $84,860. And I'll explain how that works out for you all and y'all's decisions to make tonight about awarding these bids. First of all, on Classic Builders, they have done work for us in Holiday before. I'm not sure exactly how he came up with all his figures, so let's don't even pay any attention to that first column that we're sitting out at $294,000, because he is saying that per house. I thought at first he was intending it per as the total of the houses.
Yeah, for neighborhood.
Anyway, let's just disregard that. But for all practical purposes, we have to show that to you and let you know. So let's go with Brewer Construction. They have worked for us in other communities out of San Angelo, Texas. And what we are required to do in the home program is to do what you see here in this base bid. It also includes a parking pad. It does not include a carport and some of the other things that you've seen in some of the houses that we built this last time. It also, we had add alternates here of demolition and disposal of debris. Some of our, and that's, if you'll notice on Mr. Brewer's, if you add those two together in those columns there, that's $5,000 that he says he can do it. That would be added to that $84,860 of his base bid. There's two ways that we can look at this. He advised me that he thought he would have a hard time getting a bricklayer up here. That has been sometimes some of our issues of bringing in bricklayers from the outside. And so he structured his bid so that if you gave him that deduct to just put hardy plank siding on it, he'd take out $5,000 from that bid, including his for demolition and clearance, and then it would all come right back to $84,860 per house. So that's going to exclude a carport, a covered patio, some of the things that you have seen before in this last one that we did for the city of Muleshoe as far as the aesthetics of looking from the street. There's others that we did in the community where all we did is just have a parking pad and the house itself. The parking pad is required. That's in the flat work that's discussed here. So home program will reimburse the city up to $85,000 per dwelling. Anything over that $85,000 that the city would like to do in addition or make any changes are, they would have to be paid out of city funds. And so that's your dilemma, is to decide what you would like to do. If you'd like to just do the basic and allow siding for him to install siding instead of brick, and he would do the clearance and demolition for you and remove all of that, we would still be at $84,860. If you'd like to have the brick, because you enjoy the aesthetic view of that, then y'all would be responsible for the clearance and demolition, there would just be a few dollars left here out of home funds to pay towards that. Then it would come out of the city coffers. So, that's just y'all's decision to make tonight in awarding this bid to Brewer Construction, if you so desire. And I've tried to show you, again, I wanted y'all to be sure you saw his base bid. That's these last two sheets here. Although it's recapped on your bid sheet, it's right there. And then his alternates are inside his packet too, right here. And it will all come out, and I can answer any questions about it. As I said, the first set of houses that we did here did not have carports, and they were not bricked. They were done with siding and a parking pad. That parking pad allows them to pull up from the street, that's paved, concrete from the street up to their home, and then they have a pathway into the front of it that if they are handicapped or disabled, they can get out onto that car pad and then move into the house. It's just not covered, anything like that. And then if you want to have it bricked, then we would just have to have the city pay for the clearance and demolition. Or when I say pay for it, the city can do it in kind. We've done that before too, on the very first set of houses that we
The
did.
last set of houses we did, weren't they brick?
The
Yes,
last
sir.
set were brick.
Yes, sir, they were all
Ones
brick.
before that were siding. is that
Yes,
right?
sir, they were. We got good bids last time, and costs have gone up, and so that's
I
what
can
we're
tell you
looking
that
at.
in the past, the city's not paid for anything extra. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, I noticed on the bid that the site work excludes any demolition. Or is the city responsible for the removal of all the old house and all the debris?
If the city wants the house to be all brick, they will be. If they go with the siding, the way he structured his bid, he'll do the demo and clear all the debris off. His additive bid for demolition is $3,000, disposal of debris is $2,000. That adds up to that $5,000. So what he's trying to trade with you all, he knows that his crews can come in that he has that work for him all the time on framing, can also do the siding. But he'll have to bring in another crew to bring in the brick. And so he's trying to offset that, let him do it that way, because he can do it faster, more efficiently, and then let him do the demolition and clearance. It's just the looks from the street that are going to be a little bit different. And explaining it to the people who've probably seen the houses with the brick. That would be my job, Rachel's job, not Leanne's job, or Zana's job to do.
And we already approved those locations.
Yes, they've already been through that, met that criteria, and
How many are there?
there's
There's
4.
4.
4 of them.
There was one that I know we were continuing to work on with some of the paperwork, but I think that was all cleared up, Mayor, and I think it is 4 that we're doing, but I'll verify that again. We were trying to make sure we could do out with all the bids by this time. And the reason that we are asking the council to consider that tonight, as of September 1st, the new 2015 energy standard requirements will go into effect on all home projects. That means that we will be revising our set of plans, our house plans, and it includes enclosing the air conditioning, the HVAC system. It has to be in a controlled climate, which means we're going to put it up in the attic and we're going to do a chase down the hallway. And all of that's going to be enclosed in that chase, and then it will spread out the air conditioner from there, which is going to increase the cost tremendously. We think, well, I have to go specifically to all Energy Star stuff that's a little bit higher standard. That I usually try to bid that in here, like the appliances and everything, but we'll have some other features in there that we're going to have to accomplish. And so we were trying to avoid that, because once the contract's awarded, I don't have to meet that September 1st
As
date.
long as it's done by September 1st.
Yes, sir.
Anybody have any questions?
Mayor, it'd be our recommendation that you would go ahead and offset the demolition and disposal by not doing the brick and letting the contractor cut care of that.
I'll make the motion that we do that, use the hardy home siding
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries.
I hope to join you next, in your September council meeting too. I'd like to, if Leanne will allow me to be on the agenda, depending on what's on that September agenda. They've changed up procurement requirements on our CDBG grants that we do for your infrastructure projects, and I'd like to just visit with you all on a, just like in this format, so that I can explain what those changes are and what the constraints it puts on the staff in following through with those procurement procedures. They are now asking us to procure professional services prior to submitting a grant application, which will be due in February the 9th. And I'd like to go over that with y'all first before we jump off into it.
Be good. Okay.
Thank
Thank you, Ms.
y'all.
Howard.
Thank y'all, appreciate it.
Okay. The next thing we'd like to do is consider proposing the tax rate for the fiscal year 2016-2017 budget. And Leanne, I'm gonna let you go over that.
Okay. As we discussed at budget work sessions, leaving our tax rate the same at .7405 will generate a little over $14,000 in additional revenue. That's because the valuations are up like 1.9 million over last year. This increase is primarily due to new constructions and home renovations, in addition to what was on the tax values last year. So we'd ask council to consider setting our tax rate, proposing the tax rate at .7405.
The same.
Yes, sir.
Wish they could put that in the paper in a little bolder print. Okay. I'll make a motion that we leave the tax rate at the same at .7405. And
I'll second.
we have a second. Is there any other discussion or questions? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Neil?
We need a show of hands on this one.
Yes, we need a record vote.
All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Thank you very much.
All right. Those opposed? None. Okay. Now we'd like to set the dates for the public hearings on that tax rate. We talked about August 22nd and August the 30th at 6 p.m. Is that all still okay with everybody, or?
Possibly.
Okay. We have to have a quorum when those happen.
We do.
Yeah. So, everybody's good with that?
Should be.
Okay, you need a motion to that effect?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
I'll make a motion that we set those 2 dates as the hearing for the tax rate.
I'll second.
And we have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. We would like to consider requests and receipts for reimbursement of hotel tax funds from the Muleshoe Heritage Foundation for the annual tour to Muleshoe that was held in June. I noticed they requested like $5,000 and
They do.
staff approved $804.89.
Yes, sir. It appeared to us from the receipts that were submitted that receipts for advertising and promotion of that event totaled $804.89.
Good. All right. I'll make a motion, we approve that amount, $804.89.
I'll second it.
And we have a second. Any discussion or questions? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Excuse me. Next thing we'd like to do is receive the financial statement for the month ending July 31st. I trust y'all have all reviewed that item by item, and anybody have any questions? I'll make a motion that we approve that financial statement.
Second.
And we have a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. We would now like to have the administrative reports.
Thank you. The city hosted a blood drive on July 20th. We had 12 contacts and collected 12 units of blood. Summer seems to be a little slight whenever it comes to donations, so we're in hopes that those will pick up come the fall. Again, the TML annual conference is going to be held in Austin, October 4th through the 7th. I think we've heard from most all of you about registrations, so that you can get registrations done for that. The final movie in the park for this summer will be next Thursday, August the 18th, and we'll be showing Angels in the Outfield. And that's a really enjoyable evening. If you've not participated in that, we'll come out because it's a good time.
It's a lot of fun.
The youth, the girls softball league is handling the concession stand this year, and I know they appreciate being able to do that. And then Muleshoe Water Park will close for the season this coming Sunday on August the 14th. We've had a successful season, but it's time for everybody to be moving off to college, and so we'll be closing on the 14th. So this is the final week. Get out there if you haven't been able to do that this summer. And then one other thing is I'd like to publicly thank the Ministerial Alliance for yesterday and for the service, the community service that was had supporting our law enforcement and first responders. It was a great day, and it was a great day to be in Muleshoe, and I was really proud of the participation and all of our people that were there.
I'd also like to thank them because it was a very nice event.
Mm-hmm.
It was
It was a good day.
pretty cool. All right. Anybody else have anything? No? All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to adjourn the regular meeting, and then we're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then we're going to go into executive session. And so I want to thank everybody for being here. And I'm sorry you're not invited. But,
It's one I'll miss.
thank you. We
We thank y'all for everything.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.